Okay. Good thing I just saw that, y'all. All right. Well, anyway, Tracy, I think, said she got this at a paint shop. And Tracy, is the one you got, does it have an angled handle like this, or is it straight? Maybe you could tell us in the chat if yours is angled. I find it's a lot easier if you have the angled one, but I was able to do it with those little brushes you can get like at Hobby Lobby, and I actually even did it a little bit just with my finger and was able to do it. Okay, the last one.
She said it's the same one.
Okay, cool. Okay, all right. And the last thing to get is this, which I think is important because you get to download free designs from the Silhouette Design Store. And no matter what machine you have, these will work because you'll be downloading them as SVGs. And you can use these with your Cricut, and they're free designs for rhinestones. All right, so let me put some of these things back away. Okay, and then if you ever want to buy more rhinestones, please let me know if you find a good place that you really like to buy them. So far, where I've been buying them is at the rhinestoneworld.com. And the thing that I like about them is, at least if you just go there one time, they have this nice card that they give you. And on this side, actually, it tells you all about the Caesar vinyl and what settings you need and how long, there's a glare on there, you need to heat press it. And then on the opposite side, it gives you the information for the rhinestones. I recommend that you get the SS10 size. Those are the most common ones. And notice it says to heat it at 335 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 seconds and medium firm pressure. Okay, let me get rid of that. Okay, so at the end, I'm going to show you a short video if you want to stay that long. Oh, wait, one last thing is I bought this at the dollar store, and you'll see me in the video using this to get my rhinestones back up and put them away because I don't want to lose them because they're like gold. All right, so at the very end, I'm going to show you a video of how I did this, and you may have seen me fast forwarding through it a little bit yesterday on a little sneak peek video that I had. And what I'm going to demonstrate is how you're able to get both of these rhinestones, the two colors lined up perfectly, just like that. And you don't have to worry or anything. So, and the way you do that is you're going to make two different templates. Here's one template, and there's the other one, and they're just going to go on top of each other, and you'll see that in the video. All right, so enough of that jazz. Couple other things that you might want to know about if you decide not to get the kit, or you use up everything in the kit and you want to make more templates, and these are reusable again and again and again. All you need to do is get regular flock, and what I've used to spray on the back is this stuff called KK2000. This is expensive. I'm sure there's another adhesive, temporary adhesive you could find to use. I worked at a quilt shop and we used that there. See, this was $15.99 for this little thing. But anyway, you would just spray the back of this, not on your board that you're going to use. You want the back to be sticky because usually you buy sticky flock because you have to stick it down to your work surface. Right now, I'm working on a chalkboard because I thought that would look better for you guys when you were to see me do things. I also oftentimes use a cookie sheet, and that works really well too, so that the lip is up and you don't lose any rhinestones. And look, I'm seeing some rhinestones. Oh, it is a good thing my lip didn't let me lose those. The other thing that you might need to get or want to get is some parchment paper. Again, you don't have to have this if you have wax paper or, excuse me. I'm going to get a Jolly Rancher. Hang on. When I was a teacher, I used to bribe my students with these. I probably rotted all their teeth out. Okay. So anyway, you use this to put your sticky already cut flock on to keep it nice like that. Okay, well, enough of that. It's time to go to, whoops. Let's see. I'm gonna go to my silhouette. Here we go. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Oh, okay. I see you're asking that. Okay. Okay. So hopefully y'all have gotten your, and Tammy, you see my peace sign now, right?
I do.
Okay. Okay. So hopefully you have you've seen the peace sign and you have it if you want to start doing this work. And if we're going to do the peace sign, the first thing you're going to have to do, if you'll notice, it's not going to be a cut file at all. We have to trace. So the first thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And can you notice this text right down here? Right here. This just tells that it's a coloring book page and it says where you can find it. So what I'm going to do first is just come over here and get this eraser. And I'm going to erase that text. So I've got to click on it. And then I could just come over here and erase it. Gone. And then I don't have to worry about that being in my trace. So now I'm going to come over here to the little tool that looks like the butterfly, supposedly, or it looks like a piece of toast. I'm going to click on that, which is going to open up my trace panel. And I'm going to select the trace area. Right here's this button. And we're all familiar with this because we've done it many times. So what we're going to do now, or I'm going to do, is just draw a box around this peace sign. Now notice I didn't get the top in here very well. Let me scroll in a little bit. So all I have to do is drag this part right up, and that allows me to get the top part in. Okay, now that looks like a pretty good trace to me. And I'm just going to hit the word trace over here on the lower right-hand side. Trace it. Now I can get rid of the picture. And I'm actually just going to click on it and delete it. Now, we do have a little bit of a problem here because there's double lines and we don't want that. So what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to highlight it. And I'm going to come up to Object. Click on that and say Release Compound Path. And as you know, what that does is it puts little boxes around everything. And so what I'm going to do then is click off and then click back on, and I'm going to start getting rid of the inside ones. So notice how I'm grabbing the inside part of that. I'm going to bring it over here to the side. I'm going to get rid of the inside part of this one, drag it over to the side. Going to do it for all of these little pieces here. Let's see, did I get the inside? Yep. And again, just grab the inside piece and get rid of it. And one more time, drag the inside piece of this out and get rid of it. So all we're left is the piece with is the peace sign with no double lines. So I'm just going to draw a box around the stuff over here on the left and hit delete on my keyboard. Give you guys a second in case you're trying to keep up. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight my whole peace sign. And I'm going to come over here. Now all of a sudden I don't remember if I need to convert that to a compound path or to a path. I'm going to do that. I'm going to convert this to a path, And we'll see if that's the right thing to do in just a minute. So I've converted that to a path. And now I'm going to come way over here to the right-hand side. My rhinestone tool is hidden underneath or behind this little triangle over here. When I click on this triangle, some more of a menu is going to shoot out. And I can scroll over every one of these to see which one is which. And this little round one here is the rhinestone tool or the rhinestone panel. So I'll click on that, and that opens up the rhinestone panel. And as we saw one day when we just kind of briefly went over this effect is no rhinestones. This will give us the edge of the rhinestones. Okay, so now I know what I did a moment ago was not what I should have done. So I'm going to undo this. You remember when I said I wasn't sure if I should change that to a path? I should not have. So now I'm going to try this again. So what I needed to do after I removed all these little pieces, I needed to make it a compound path because that's what makes this whole image like as if it's just one piece. So if I come up here to Object and make a compound path, then when I come over here and get the rhinestone panel, I don't want to click on None because that's what we have. I want to click on Edge, and that puts rhinestones around every single edge, and that's exactly what we want. So the next thing I'm going to do then is I'm going to color those. So I'm going to come up here to the color swatch, and I'm going to color those blue. Okay. And I want to get out my notes for 1 second. Okay. So now I'm going to put another layer around because just like I had shown you, I want to use 2 different colors. So to do that, I have to come over here to the trace panel, click on that. I'm going to say offset. And when I scroll in really closely, let me move this out of the way. When I scroll in really closely, you're going to see that those rhinestones my computer is acting wacky. Anyway, these rhinestones are pretty close together. That might be okay. As you can see, let's scroll out just a little tiny bit. But what I decided to do for mine, so it would be easier to line these up and they're not going to be quite so close, I changed my offset amount. So let me click on Control Z to go back. Okay, so we just have the one, oh, why is that doing that? We just have the one rhinestone area selected. And again, I'm going to go to offset. But this time, instead of leaving it right over here on the right, at the default, I changed mine to 0.150. So that made the offset a little bit bigger. So it was 0.125, that's the default. I'm changing it to 0.150. And I'm going to hit enter. And I don't know if you noticed, but that moved them out just a little tiny bit. And that's exactly what I needed to have happen. And then I can come up here to this color swatch and color them any color I like, just like that. Okay, so all I did was went to Object and Group for those right now. But now I'm going to step back because I want to start easier. So we're going to start, let's get rid of these because I had done that before and brought them back. Let's step back in time and just do a little bit easier to begin with. Let's come over here to the drawing tools area and just pick the rectangle. So you can easily follow along with this if you'd like to. Come over here and get a rectangle and then just draw out a rectangle. Okay, and then you're going to come to the rhinestone panel. So remember, it's way down over here on the right. Click on that little triangle that brings out this fly out menu and get your rhinestones. And this time, click on the one that says edge and see what happens. Okay, if like me, nothing happened, do you know why? It's because I don't have anything selected here. I need to select this first, and then I can come over here and click on edge, and boom, just like that, rhinestones perfectly spaced. Now I want to show you over here, there are different sizes of rhinestones. The one that automatically comes in are the 10SS size. That's the one I always use. I just buy those and that's all, and I don't have to worry. That's automatically what things come in as. I want you to look down here further, way down at the bottom of this panel, and notice under the 10SS, it tells you exactly how many rhinestones you're going to need for this project. So the number of rhinestones you'll need are 98 if you're going to make this project right here. So we have this rectangle and it's still selected. Let's see what happens when we come over here to the linear fill. Click on that and look what that's going to do for your rhinestones. It's going to fill that whole rectangle perfectly in lines, linear. And again, if you come down here, it's going to tell you for 10SS, that's 10 stone size, I believe, you're going to use 518 for this. Let's try one more. Let's go over here to the radial fill. Click on that with your rectangle. Okay, and that's going to also use 518 rhinestones. But the radial fill does a little bit different than the linear fill. The radial fill starts on the outside, so your outside line is always going to be perfect, and then it continues to fill the rhinestones in towards the center. So if you'll notice, if you go right in here towards the center some, you can see right here that the rhinestones are a little bit spaced oddly. All right, so let's get rid of this rectangle. If you have your rectangle, just draw a box around it and hit delete. And now let's come back over here to this tool over here. And let's go to the rounded rectangle one and draw a rounded rectangle. Remember these little dots that we have here that can adjust all four corners at once, how rounded they are. So you can make yours however you like it. And then once again, let's go through here. Let's come over here to the edge. There we go, all around the edge, the 10SS. Let's come back up, let's come up here and change the color of your rhinestones. Maybe you want them to be pink or orange or blue. I'll make mine pink because I always like the pink. Okay, let's come and look how many rhinestones we're using for this one now down here, 92. All right, let's do the radial fill. Okay, 400 and I can't tell what that says, 36, I think. And once again, let's come over to the, that was the linear fill. Let's do the radial fill. And again, you look how nicely those rounded edges are because as I said, it starts on the outer side or outer edge and works its way in. So if I scroll back to the linear, look what that did. It kind of different over here around the edges. Okay, let's go back to no rhinestones again. Say you don't like what you've done. And go back to no rhinestones. Hey, Tammy, there's someone in the waiting room.
Maybe. I don't know who that is. Not on the
Oh, okay. I don't know. All right, so we're going to delete this. Let's go back over here again. Let's get the circle. This will really help you see the how nice the radial fill works. So if you hold down your shift key while you're drawing the circle, whoopsie daisy, I don't want that. Really, if you hold down your shift key as you draw the circle, it keeps it rounded perfectly. Unless you let go weirdly like I just did. Shift, let go of your mouse first, and then let go of your shift key. And now let's come over to the edge fill. So wouldn't this be pretty? I mean, just imagine something just like this, that you could put someone's monogram in here. But let's check out and see what happens when we do the linear fill in a circle. Okay, it's not bad, but you can see there's some spots here that you might want to fix right here and over here. Let's try the radial fill. Okay, the radial fill works out perfectly. Again, because it starts at the outside and it works its way in. So it fills that circle perfectly. And again, you can come up here and change the colors of the rhinestones if you want to. All right, so let's suppose for just a second we are working with this one, but we don't want a few of these rhinestones in the center here. And they're all hooked together, right? Well, if you'd like to, you can come over here to where it says Release Rhinestones. And when I click on that, that's going to put a box around every one of those rhinestones, and it's going to let me move them. So I'm going to release them. And there's a box around each one of these. I can scroll in a little bit and say I don't want some of these center ones in here. Well, I got to click off first, and then click back on. And I can move these out. Whoopsie. And just delete them if I don't want them. The reason why sometimes this is a good thing to use is because, look at that, got moved. If ever you're doing something and the rhinestones don't fit very well, then you can manipulate them. Say that you want to fit another one in here if you needed to, if they weren't properly spaced or something. And you're going to come across this. You'll see when it's going to be helpful in real life. Let's say I needed another rhinestone in there. I could click on this one. All I have to do is hold down my Alt key, and I can drag another one right up there into place. So that was because I released the rhinestones. All right, let's get rid of all of this stuff. Hit delete. Let's come over here to this Flexi Shapes tool now and get a little bit more difficult. Let's go get a star and draw a star. Whoops, I forgot to highlight it. And you probably remember about the zipper tool being able to make a whole bunch more points. And this being able to make them different. Okay, I don't want that many points on my star to begin with. I'm just going to start with this many. You can draw yours however you'd like. And come over here again. And let's see what happens when we hit the edge on the rhinestones. Pretty good. That turns out pretty nice like that. And you could probably do an offset and have several different colors together. Let's check out linear. Okay, that's not bad, but it's not good. This might be a case where you'd want to release some rhinestones, because you see this one right here? I think it would look a lot better if I got rid of him. Right now, as it stands, I cannot. But if I came over here to release rhinestones, I could do it. They're all released now. I could get rid of that one. And, you know, maybe I want to change some of these. Okay, I think that linear is maybe not the best for a star. So you just have to manipulate these rhinestones. So instead, I'm going to hit Control Z and go back to where my rhinestones were originally. And this time I'm going to go to radial. Oops, I gotta select it first. And I might just have to go, yeah, I'm gonna have to go Control Z to go back. To before I had released them. Okay. All right. So now instead of it being, wait, we had, there's the edge, there's linear, and there's radial. And radial is kind of pretty. I kind of like that. Now here's another example. If maybe you'd want to put some more rhinestones in here if you could fit them. It's up to you. But again, what you'd have to do is release some rhinestones to do that. Or I think you can just go in here and add a rhinestone. Did you see what I clicked on? Let me show you. Over here where it says freehand, over here, you can click on freehand and add, let me click on it, and add one rhinestone at a time. Or you can actually just draw some shape that you want your rhinestones to take. Something else you can do if you're doing this, this is kind of like an overview, I guess. You can change the spacing right here. So space them farther apart, bring them closer together. That's really close, they're touching, it won't be very good. So I'm gonna delete this and delete these two. And you can adjust the spacing of this as well. Whoa, so like if you make it like that, look at that spacing, that's pretty weird. And this is just things you could fool around with. This probably wouldn't be very good because they're touching. They wouldn't have room to be. Okay. So again, you can even change the spacing for the edge. Okay, let's get rid of the star and try something else. Let's come over here and let's see. Try, I kind of wanted to try a flower. Let's try this flower right here. Let's just try it just as it is. So I've got to highlight it first. Come over here to edge. Okay, I'm not crazy about that. I'm going to go back here to no rhinestones. And I guess what I'll do is I'm going to just try what happens here. I think it's going to, I'm not sure. Let's try it. Okay, that's not bad. The thing is, look at my spacing right here, over here. I believe my spacing has been changed from when I was playing with it before. So I think I need to fix that a little bit. So this would just be something that you play with. I just changed my spacing to 0.050, and that's a little bit better. And again, of course, I could change the colors of my rhinestones. And by the way, if you ever want your rhinestones to look really real, you can come up here to where it says Advanced Rhinestones. Click on that. And you should be able to click on the rhinestone that you want. And click down here again on what you're doing. And you can see how that makes them look more realistic. And one of the advantages of this might be if you're trying to make a mock-up to show somebody, if you want to make a shirt for them and you want to show them kind of more what it's going to look like. And so you can just change the rhinestone colors here. I could change it to the fill. That's bad. Radial's okay. And there are some more colors down in here as well. And I'm using the 10SS because that's the size that I have. Okay, does anybody have any questions so far?
Not so far.
Okie doke.
questions in the chat, please.
Yeah. All right, so let's get rid of the flower now. Click delete. Come back over here. Keep having to move my chat out of the way. Y'all can't see it, I'm sure, but it's this little box is always in the way for me. Coming back over here, let's get this guy. Reminds me of the hurricanes. Let's just adjust yours however you like and see what you can get to have happen. So here I am, and I'm coming over here, and I don't see where I can do my edge or any of that jazz, but I can do it, I think, right down here. Yeah, it's kind of different. So again, I might want to change the spacing. I could go back to this and see what's going to happen if I do the radial fill. Click on it. Okay, this is not doing anything. Go try that again. Come back here, get the little hurricane-y looking guy. Don't want that many. So right now I have none. Gonna go to the edge, to the linear. So you can see that for some of these, it doesn't work at all, not well at all. All right, let's check a few more. Let's do the tree. I'm gonna do this tree because I think it's easier. All right, so we're gonna click on it to select it. Come over here to do edge. And again, okay, so let me tell you this. So what's happening here is we're using these larger rhinestones. Well, there's the 6SS, there's the 10, and then there are even larger ones. Sometimes if your object doesn't look right, when you stretch it out, it's going to look right. And the reason being is these rhinestones take up so much space because they're a certain size. So you have to, in order for your object to look right, you have to stretch it out so that the rhinestones have room. So let me show that a little bit better here. I'm just going to come over here to the text tool, and I'm going to come over here and type in the word high. I think I'll just do it in all caps. Okay. And I'm going to take that word high, highlight it, and I'm going to come over here and do the rhinestone edge. Well, notice that does not look good at all. But if I stretch it out, notice how it looks pretty good now. So when I have it this small, there's just not enough space for the rhinestones to work in there well. So I have to stretch it out to a certain height so that it looks good. Now there are a lot of rhinestone fonts that you can purchase that will allow you to make things very, very small. But this one here that I'm using right now, Arial, has to be a certain size for it to look good. And after class, when I send you the link for the video, I'm also going to include some free downloads that you can get from the Rhinestone world. There are some free fonts in there, and there are some free images that all you have to do is cut out the flock and it's ready to go. So just for you to practice if you'd like to. So let's delete this word high again, or now. Come back over here to one more shape, and let's get a heart. There's the heart. And this was a nice one to use. So we're going to do, I've got to select it first, right? And I'm going to come up here to the edge. And I think that'd be really pretty. Make it red, pink. And again, if we want to put another one on the outside of this, I believe all we would do is go to the offset. And again, to me, these are a tiny little bit close, but you'll learn yourself what you like. What I usually like to change my offset to is 0.5. Whoopsie, get rid of that. Okay, 0.150, and then I hit enter. And that just moves them out ever so slightly so that they're not going to be touching on top of the other ones. And again, I can change their color to anything I like. I could keep making several of these if I'd like to. Or maybe, you know, maybe I want to, I'll group these together for right now. Right-click and group. All right, I'm going to make them a little smaller. Oh, this is something I want you to watch. While you're here in design space, or not design space, in Silhouette, you can change the size of these. You cannot, you need to know what the size is for your Cricut machine so that you have it exactly right. Let me explain. So watch this first. I'm going to come back to the Rhinestone tool, and when I have this all selected, notice down here how many rhinestones there are. 179, right? Okay. When I make it smaller, this software is smart enough to adjust all of that. So what it did was it now has it at 148 rhinestones. So you can adjust the size of the rhinestones while you're over here in Silhouette software. But when you go over to Cricut Design Space, what you'll need to do is, if you want this to be exactly, let's come up here to the top, a 5x5 heart, or basically a 5x5, I lock the lock and I hit enter. What I want to do is to make sure I make the image when I bring it into Design Space the exact same size. And you remember that tip that Nancy had given us. Say like I was going to save this as heart, rhinestone heart SVG. I could save it as rhinestone heart and then put in the first dimension 5.0 SVG. Then when I bring this into Design Space, if I make the width 5.0 and have the lock locked, it will make it proportionate exactly how you need it to be. Because if you just take this into Design Space as it is, it's going to come in a lot smaller probably, or sometimes a lot bigger than what you're expecting. You need to make it the exact size because the rhinestones are an exact size. You can't adjust them. So remember, when you take this to Design Space, go to File, Save As, Save to hard drive, and you're going to save it as an SVG, name it, and include the width dimension. Just always do the same one. Whether you're going to choose the height or the width, always put that within the name. And that was an excellent tip that Nancy had given us at one point. Okay, let's see. Are there any questions yet?
Not yet.
Okie doke. All right, so what I'm going to do now is, how much time we have? About 15 minutes. I'm going to show you a video of how I did that peace sign yesterday, and let you look at that for a few minutes. I might kind of fast forward through it if I can, because I think it's 11 minutes long, because you'll see me trying to get the rhinestones in. Like I said, sometimes they just go in like that, and some days it just might be you. You have your brush angled weird or something. But so let's go to that next. All right, so here's the video, and I'm going to start it. Let me know if you can hear anything of it, Tammy.
I will. You can't hear it well.
You cannot?
No.
Okay, so I should just stop the audio. So, see, I'll just turn that down then and tell you what I'm doing. All right, I can scroll through it more quickly too. All right, so there is one of the pieces, and generally, if you're making a two-color object, it's really good to make it, if you have a cameo, and have a a weeding box around it. And the reason being is, okay, so what's really good is if you're going to put two different colors like I have on this one, you cut out two different templates, and it's perfect if they're exactly the same size, because what you do first is any one of these, and of course this is the sticky flock from the Rhinestone world, so you see it's sticking really well. I wouldn't do it here because I don't have a lip to keep my rhinestones, but what you do is you just place this one down on here first, and then you're going to pour all your rhinestones on here and get them in there just perfectly. And then you bring your transfer tape over, and this is what I'm going to show you in the video. You'll put your transfer tape on this, you'll pick up these rhinestones with the transfer tape, and imagine that this transfer tape, let's pretend this is it. This is my transfer tape. I'm picking up all of these rhinestones, and I'm going to go like this. They're on my transfer tape, and I'm going to make this like a little hinge, back like this. And I'm going to stick it so it will stay back there. Then I can bring up this second one, put this piece right on top exactly, if I've cut the squares out exactly right. So where I need these rhinestones is perfectly aligned to where the bottom ones were. So, and they're on this transfer tape already. So all I have to do now is bring this transfer tape here that's stuck to my mat or my work surface, bring it back down like this, let it fall right on there, and it's going to pick up these rhinestones now in exactly the area I need them to be. And I go like this, they'll be on the transfer tape. So that's what this video is going to show. So I'm going to go to that one now. Again, basic. All right, so what I'm doing right now is I've just poured a bunch of those rhinestones on there so that, you know, you pour more on, and then you use your little brush to brush them in. And you just go in circles like that, because that gets them, they kind of bump up against each other and they get knocked into where they're supposed to be. Okay, and so then after I get them all rubbed in there, once you get them in by rubbing them around in circles again and again and again, get them in there, then you just go perpendicular to the sides or parallel to the sides to move them out. See how I'm just smoothing them now? I want to get the excess ones off. If you miss any, you just go back over it again and just kind of go around in a circle again, and they kind of bump into each other and make each other get right in there where they're supposed to. Like I said yesterday when I was doing this, I was having more trouble than I sometimes do. It's just sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. It looks like maybe my brush is a little bit angled weird. I don't know. But anyway, let me go fast forward through this part a little bit. So now eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to start moving all these rhinestones off to the side because I don't want to get them on my transfer tape. And I start using that little dustpan to get them back in my container. Okay, now I'm going to, I get the transfer paper out, and you cut it larger than what you think you need, especially width-wise. Here's the transfer paper, and again, it's a different kind of paper. You can't use just what you have. So you just pop it down on there. Notice how it comes off to the left-hand side larger than what I need. That's because I need that hinge there. And I really should have probably made it about another inch wider. But watch how easily these rhinestones just come right up. And if ever a rhinestone doesn't come up, you just push the tape back down on top of it, let its stickiness touch the rhinestone, and it'll pull it up. See, I folded that under so it would stick, but I really wish I had had a larger piece to stick under. Because you see it moving just a little bit? That was scary. So I'm matching up the corners because the weeding boxes were in exactly the same place. If you don't have the Cameo, you'll just have to make weeding boxes yourself, or just kind of do 2 separate ones and eyeball it when you're putting it down. Again, putting out more than I need. Ordinarily, you see all those rhinestones to my right over there in the corner. I would have picked those all up before I started a new color, because I don't want my colors to get mixed. Again, I can fast forward through some of this so you don't have to watch me. And there was when my stuff started to move a little bit. You see, that's why I should have had my transfer tape just a little bit bigger, so there was a more of an area to stick. So I had to hold it. Okay, pretty much, okay, got those all out of the way. And there were a few that stuck right here to my tape that I wanted to get off. Okay, now I'm going to take that tape, since it's hinged, all I have to do is bring it back and it'll be perfect. So that's just what I'll use to iron onto my shirt now. I don't have to do 2 separate ironings like you might have to do. But these are all perfectly aligned now. So right now is when I would just go ahead and put that right onto my parchment paper or wax paper. And I actually just put it back on the back side of the transfer paper. So anyway, I think I said the reason why I did that was because it's just about time to be the 50th anniversary of Woodstock. It was in 1969 on, what was it, August 15th. So I thought that'd be a cool thing to make peace signs for you or your friends, or I know some kids even like them these days. In honor of 50 years ago, on August 15th was Woodstock. I wasn't there. I think I was a couple years too young, but not many. All right.
Wendy has a question. She messaged me. She's not sure how to get to chat yet.
Sure.
But she says she missed the first part of the class, so she wants to know. My grandbaby's crying. Wants to know what kind of material, which is like I told her, the flock. But
Right.
She wants to know if she doesn't order the kit, is there a way she can get everything that's not very costly?
Sure, but okay. So you can get the flock, and you can buy that wherever you can find it available. It's just the Caesar flock, and that you can buy that probably for, what is it about now? Anybody know, Roxana? Do you know? Is it about $4 a sheet or something like that? So you could get a sheet of the flock. You can get the rhinestones anywhere. The rhinestones that you want to get are called hot fix rhinestones. That's because we don't want to have to glue those things. We want to just put them on with our heat press or with our irons or with an easy press. And since they have, you can see in the picture here on the screen, I think you can still see it. See how they're like a grayish color on the back? That's because that's adhesive. And it gets adhered through the heat from any of your devices that you might have, your iron, heat press, easy press. Let's see, what else do you need?
She wants
to use go ahead, sure, great.
She wants to know, is the flock HTV or like sticky vinyl?
It's not, it's got to be the flock, and the flock is an iron-on. It's an HTV. Let me see. I have some right over here. Hang on, I'll bring some right over. Let me share this screen. Okay, so this is the other kind of flock that you can use. This is just regular flock that you can buy from anybody if they have it in stock. It was going like wildfire for a while, but this is HTV. If you're going to use this, you'll put it shiny side down, and you will have to mirror your things. It went blurry, didn't it? If you're going to have text on here, if you use this. This is the one that you get in the kit, and it's black, and you'll just put it on your mat like this to go into your Cricut or whatever machine you're putting it on. So when you're done, you'll just peel this off like this, and what will be left will be, this will be left on your sheet that's underneath. This will be left, and what you want to use is this part. Okay, so I put this in my machine, cut out all these little holes, pulled this up. It weeded out these little circles for me that I don't need. This is the piece that I do need because I'm going to spread my rhinestones into here. You can buy regular flock. It's HTV flock, F-L-O-C-K. You will have to have some way after you cut it to stick it down onto your work surface, whether you're using a cookie sheet or a chalkboard, or even if you're just using your tabletop because you're not afraid you'll lose your rhinestones. It will need to be stuck down. If it isn't stuck down like this, every time you try to put the rhinestones in here, this thing's going to be sliding all over the place. You're going to get rhinestones all up underneath of here. So you want it to be stuck down on your work surface. So,
okay, she has another question.
Great, I'm glad. Okay.
She wants to know if she can use felt, sticky felt instead of flock.
Well, that I don't know. Is there such a thing as sticky felt? You mean just to buy the felt from, you know, I bet the felt would work. If you buy the hard kind.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah, if you buy that, you need to test that and see if that works. Because what is felt? That's very cheap, isn't it? At the store, at like Joann's. Yeah, we need to test that and see if that works. Because all you'd need to do is have the felt. If your machine will cut the felt, that's a problem you might have though, because see, all of this stuff has a backing. Now, you might be able to do it if you have the maker. I do not. I have a Cricut Explorer. I don't think she has a maker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she could probably cut it. I guess I don't have one, but in the maker you can probably cut felt more easily than you can in the Explorer. In the Explorer, we could if it had a backing to it. That's, to the best of my knowledge, what I know, but I've not tried it. And I don't have a maker. Anybody else?
Roxanne says that you can use Patty Ann's link and get the hot fix rhinestones from Amazon.
Oh, that's true. Hey, thanks.
I haven't tried and tempted because they're real inexpensive there.
The rhinestones?
Oh yeah, and they're called hot fix rhinestones. So
yeah, that's what you have to make sure you get. I just wonder about the quality of some of them, whether they have as nice a sheen, but they may. And some of the ones that you get at the Rhinestone World, they say they're low lead. So I don't know if there's a lot of lead in some of them, you know, that you'd have to worry about for kids. But the ones from the Rhinestone World, but that just might be something they put on there. I don't know if it's true. So Diana, you're looking forward to playing with yours? Okay, the felt is similar to the flock. Maybe it will work too. That would be great if it works. But I just don't know if we can use it for our Explore Airs if you have that. I'd have to test that.
What about the silhouette people? Will their cameos cut it?
Felt?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about that either. I haven't tried that. The
Okay,
problem I think is, well, I guess it depends on what kind of mat you have and if it will stick down well enough to your mat. Both of the machines will cut this, and obviously the regular flock perfectly. All these little holes, not a problem for either machine, the Explore Air or the Cameo. And since the Explore Air can do it, I'm sure that the Maker can do it also.
okay, she wants to know the name of the transfer tape. I think you went over that. It's got to be the
I don't
heat.
know if I said the name of the transfer tape because I'm not sure that they say what it's called.
I think
This is
so.
from Rhinestone World. I think it's just a hot transfer tape. And I'll tell you what I'll do. When I'm sending you the links for the free things that you can get from the Rhinestone World, I'll also include the name of the transfer tape if I can find exactly what they say it's called. I think they just call it transfer tape even in the kit. Let's look. Doesn't even say. So those of you who got the kit, did you get your free designs yet? I know I think one of the ones you can get is like that butterfly. You did, Roxana? Oh, not yet, Diana. And stars, you get the stars, and they show you how to put several different stars together. I think you get one font, one type of font. Let's see if it tells right quick. And then you guys probably want to go. Just says Rhinestone transfer tape on here. That's all they call it. But it's one that has to be heat resistant. So. Can you use any design from Design Space? I guess. I don't know what you mean, any design from Design. Oh, you know what? You can't get your designs from Design Space into Silhouette to make your own rhinestones. Let me show you what I mean. Let's see. New share. Okay, so here I am back here in Silhouette, and suppose that I just went and let's see, I think I might have something in here, Tammy, that we've probably done that I could bring in real quick. Downloads. Yeah. Okay, here's a ladybug.
Oh yeah, she'll be cute.
Let's see. Okay, so I'm not sure. I'm going to try this right off the cuff. Let's see if I can figure this out. Now, I'm afraid I have to trace her first, so bear with me for 1 second when I trace her because this is the non-traced one. And actually, I'll just trace her all the way like that and just trace. And let's just see if we can get an outline of her. We will be able to easily. The only thing I'm concerned about are her antennas. So what I might like to do is go to Object. Let's see if I release the compound path. Nope, they're stuck. They will not be released because if you'll notice, if you look very closely, right there, they are connected. So it's all one piece. What I'm afraid about right now, if I do the rhinestones, is see how skinny this is going to be? I'm not sure what's going to happen with my rhinestones right there. Let's try it and see. So I'm just going to go ahead and scroll back out and move this up. And my rhinestone tool or rhinestone panel is still open. So let's see what happens. I'm going to click it. Here we go. Okay, turned out cute. Look at that. The only thing is, guess what I would have done or should have done probably. Let's go back. If I really wanted to have her, and maybe you saw that I've already done this. Here's my girl. Let's pretend like this one's ready to go. If I really wanted to put rhinestones on the outside of her, maybe what I would do is take this and come over here and offset it a little bit. Because maybe I don't want them all the way smack dab up against her. I may not want them that far off. And I'm just experimenting here to see what's going to happen. Oops, it went back to that. So let's see, 0.05, enter. Okay, now they're very close. Let's see what's going to happen now if I go ahead and put rhinestones on this. Okay, that looks weird. I guess I would want to space them a little bit differently, but I'm going to go ahead and color them. And I can move that part out and move this back in. And so you can kind of get an idea of what that would be like if I was trying to make her into some rhinestones around. It looks to me like if I were really doing this, don't you think that maybe you'd want the rhinestone offset to be a little further away? Looks like it might be too close. But
Or maybe just in the, could you put them on the inside?
you could, sure you could, yeah.
Or I would want them, I think. I mean, just myself.
Right, yeah, you could do it either way. So I'll show you one more thing here, down here again. So on this one, what I did on the heart was I just, you know, offset the whole thing. I must have grouped the heart and the mom word together. And then I just put the rhinestones all around that. Now, I did have to release the rhinestones. And look here, I messed up a little bit right there. I did have to release the rhinestones a little bit to fix these places in here. And then I think one shifted on my, while I was working. Oh, here's a bad one too right there. Look at that. One shifted while I was working. I didn't pay very close attention. And then again, here's another one. Now this one, when I did this one, I think I put the rhinestones a little too far away. I think I would have liked these better if they were closer.
It's cute.
But it's just a little trial and error. And, you know, if you keep notes and kind of keep track of what you're doing, we'll get better and better. But I still think it turned out really cute.
It did.
When I look at it now, I think I would have made it a little bit differently.
Okay, from Joanne, we have, there is adhesive felt at the craft store that might work. So
What kind of felt?
Adhesive.
Oh, there is?
Okay.
Which store? Joann's has it?
No, Joanne said that. Not.
I know, but does who has the adhesive felt? Does it have a backing on it, or is it just sticky?
Okay, Wendy said that's what she was referring to. Let me ask her what store.
Okay, yeah. You know what you can do, Tammy? You can unmute people when they want to talk if they have a question. If they want. Okay, that's all blurry. But this is so much fun, you guys. If you like making bling, oh, and guess what? Okay, there's another expense if you want to go another level, and that's this. If you want to learn how to put bling on hard things like this, same kind of bling, how are you going to do this? Our presses won't do this, right? We can't take a heat press and put it on here, or an iron and mount it onto here. That's when this other stuff comes into play that the rhinestone world has, and it's the only place that I found that I can found it. It's called Bling Anything, my sloppy notes. But this is what I have to do so I remember. I preheated 5 seconds for 310 degrees, and then I press it at 310 for 10 seconds. Okay, and also this is another one that I did, the Bling Anything. Now, let me tell you this. They said that you can put this in the dishwasher. This has been in the dishwasher probably 20 times, but look at this. It is losing a rhinestone or two. Now, this is the very first thing I did. So I'm not sure if this is user error or if my dishwasher is really, really hot and these things just can't withstand 20 sometimes in the dishwasher, because I lost a rhinestone or two right there. But what this is it makes this a big sticker. You can barely see it, but behind this rhinestone, maybe you can see it better on here. Maybe you can see it. See that? You see that shininess behind those rhinestones? Now from afar, from this far away, from as far as I would really look at this with my naked eye, you cannot notice that. But when I have it this close to a camera, you can certainly see that shininess. That's because that's the Bling Anything material that you're going to iron these rhinestones onto, and then you use this as a big sticker. What's really perfect about this Bling Anything material is you can use it for car decals. Wouldn't that be cool? Dance Mom or whatever, all those little decals people make. I'm not affiliated with the Rhinestone world. I'm just telling you that that's where I purchased mine. That's the only place I've seen to purchase it. If you find another source for it, let me know. But I guess that's probably about it. Anybody else have some more questions? Yes, the internet says Michaels and Hobby Lobby have it. Also Amazon, just search for adhesive felt. So Joanne, is the backing, does it have an adhesive on the back? I mean, is there a paper or anything like that? Or is it just sticky? I guess why I ask is because I'm wondering about putting it on my mat. If it's just going to stick to my mat or, I don't know. Oh, bye, Teresa. Sorry you have to go to work. And Diana says she thinks she's seen it at Hobby Lobby. Susie says she saw it at Michael's. I think I'm going to, oh, and she said she does think it has a backing. Or yes, it did have a backing, Joanne said. Let's see. Yes, there's a paper backing with sticky in between. Cool. All right, you guys, that might be a perfect solution. If I could make myself leave my computer and playing here today, I'd go get some and check it out. Okay, it's time. People saying they have to go to work. If you have more questions, please put them in our silhouette group online. If you do any bling things, please post them there. I'd love to have you post them on the Cutting Up with Patty Ann too. Maybe some of those people will be willing to join us here because I think they'd really enjoy it if they believe they could do these things, you know, with their Cricut machine. So, all right. Thank you. Thanks, Diana. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Thank you, Tammy, very much. Tammy might have muted herself. I bet she did. Her grandbaby must be crying. Connor, behave. All right. See you guys again soon. Bye.